So hello guys, this is MrChestplate here. This course would act as programming 101 for Block D players. I won't go into every detail or get complicated with all the different programming keywords, but I will try to make programming terms more comprehensible and maybe inspire you to code more in other fields other than Block D. So just to introduce, Block C is written in a programming language called JavaScript. Just interpret as a normal language or a language that you speak to the Block C world to make things happen. Let's get right into the first course, which would be about variables and what you can store in them. So what are variables? Well, variables are like a chest. The chest has a name. It's called word, okay? And in the chest you can store a lot of stuff, but I'm just going to store the word snow. In programming terms, it's like this. Word equals snow. You just store the word snow into the chest called word. Now that's only one thing you can store, but over here we have a few things that we can store in it. First we have integers, which is just the ordinary whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or -1, -2, -3. There's no decimal point, just integers like 1. Now if we store 1 in here, let's just take out the snow and let's just store 1 in it. Okay, I stored 1 in here, then it will be the equivalent as word equals 1. Note that there isn't any quotation marks because quotation marks only stand for the word type like snow. Now the next one is called floats. Well, floats is just very easy to comprehend or understand. It's just numbers with decimal points. Yeah, like 3.14159. Note that integers cannot store like this. It can only store whole numbers without decimal points. Now if I put this here like this, okay, it will be the equivalent of word equals 3.14159, in which the word is the name of the chest or variable. Now the third one is called bools. It's a very fascinating kind of thing that you can store in a variable. It's discovered by, I think, a person called Boolean. The full name is Boolean, but we just call it bools for short. Now what bools do is true or false. Well, just two. It can only represent two type of things, either true or false. Now you can think of them as opposite. It can only represent opposite of each other, and you can do a lot of interesting things with this. In fact, the whole idea of computer is revolved in the Boolean or the bools type. Now if we store it in here like this, it will be the equivalent of this word equals true. Now it's also true. It can also be false. You just need to write it in lowercase. Now we are finally here at strings, our very common friend, which we all use every day. It is used to encode everyday speech into the programming languages and store them. For example, let's just use the snow like what we've done before. Now that we put into it, let's check what the equivalent of this is in coding language. Turns out we are back to the double quotation marks that we put, which just stands for the word snow. Nice. Now that we covered all the stuff you can store in here, there's almost a lot of possibilities or infinite possibility of what you can actually do with it. We can have multiple chests like this, where we call it integers. Well, it will be the equivalent of creating, let's just say in coding language, of creating another in the code, which is very easy to do. you just first write in the name, which is called integers, and then write in the value you want to store in it. Now we don't have anything to store in it yet, so maybe we'll just store a 1 here. This will be the equivalent of 2 chests in this box. A very extraordinary indeed thing you can do with all these types. Let's just start with integers. Well, first of all, we can just add them, right? Like, we're gonna do like, maybe 1 plus 1. Use the plus here to indicate that you want 1 plus 1. Which the result is 2. Of course it is, like, who doesn't know that? And you have 1 plus 2, which is 3. Yada yada, you have all those wonderful stuff. Now if I redirect you to the right side of the screen, you will see a lot of or a lot of operations that you can do to these integers. So here it is, all the operations you can do. So let's just start with this. What does this do? Let's test it out. It should appear any moment now. Nice. We got 3 times 2. Okay, so what is this? This is times, right? So it should output 6, which we see on the left side is what the answer really is. And it is correct, of course. Now let's try the division or the slanted line, of course. Okay, it just quit. Okay, 6 divided by 3 is of course 2, which we can see is the right result here. We'll first jump, we'll just skip this for 1 second and move on to the next, which is addition, which is pretty easy. 3 plus 2 of course is equal to 5. Oh, I think it's broken. Yep, it's equal to 5 and minus, which is fairly just the reverse of addition. 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. Now, what is this? What is this? Well, if we clear this up, what this do is find a remainder. What do we mean by remainder? Remember, like, if you divide two numbers, let's say if you want to divide 2, 3 divided by 2, well, we can't really divide it whole, right? So it's going to equal to, let's see, 1R1. So what is R? R just stands for remainder, which means that 3 divided by 2, you can't really divide it whole. If you divide it, it's going to be 1 remainder 1. What this percentage do is find that remainder. Let's test if our calculation is right. Mine is a little bit sketchy. I'm not that good at math anyway. Let's just run it. Yeah, it output 1 is 3 percentage 2, which says that it has a remainder of 1. So if we don't have a remainder of 1, it have a remainder of 0, it means that it can be fully divided, just like 4 divided by 2, which is 2 remainder 0. Now if we test here, I think we will get the same result. Yep, we got 0. So these are all the operations you can do on integers, which is pretty cool. Floats can do the same thing because they are really all numbers, which we can represent by placing a bigger group, bigger board on here that says that they are the same group, which are numbers. Yes sir, they are all numbers. So it means that it can do the same, they can all do the same operations, and these are operations are really only for numbers, but it can also do for strings and a lot of other stuff. Now I said that you can do it also for strings. So what do I mean? Oh, I mean especially for the plus sign. Strings can only have plus signs. Right, yeah, indeed. Now let's just say that this is for numbers. So it's numbers OP, which stands for number operations, and here we have the string operations. I don't think it's building yet. Okay, just build itself. And what is the only thing you can do? I mean, like, what is the most common thing you can do with it? Yeah, it is addition, which you can do to add a whole bunch of things together. For example, if you add any of these to a string, it will result in a string. What do you mean by that? For example, if I will add the word snow to the number 1, well, it really results in snow 1. Well, am I just bluffing? Well, let's just test that. Yeah, we have snow 1 here, right? Now, if we add a boolean, which is pretty incompatible. By the way, if you can add an integer right here, you can almost add any number. So let's just try a boolean right here. So let's just snow plus false, which is a boolean. Remember, booleans only have two things, true or false. Then it will result in snow false. Am I bluffing or is it real? Let's test it. It's snow false. Wow, very interesting. You can do a lot of operation with these. Maybe you can even create a simple calculator that calculates all these operations and string operations. So editor's note, I didn't cover how you can add two strings together, so I'm covering it here. If you have a string, for example snow, and you want to add it to maybe sun, then it will result in snow sun with no space in between, which is pretty interesting, to be honest. Now let's just continue the video. There are more ways to calculate numbers and a lot more cool stuff, but these are just the basics. Now this is the end of the tutorial for the types of things you can store in variables. Next time we'll talk about what kind of variables are there, or what kind of data structures are there that you can store these integers here. So if you're interested, click the subscribe button to keep notified when that happens. Or if you want me to improve something, you can just say it in the comments, or something that I did wrong. You can provide feedback in the comments also. I would try to edit my video, but I don't have that much free time. So until I see you guys again, goodbye and keep on coding.